Good morning, everyone. My name is Beth, and I'm with the Education Alliance. At the Education Alliance, we work to connect businesses and community partners with public schools across West Virginia. Our goal is to help students discover career possibilities and build skills and confidence they need for life after graduation. And one of the ways that we do this is through a program called Virtual Work-Based Learning, which gives students direct access to professionals and industries that they may not otherwise experience. Today, we are excited to partner with Willing Heritage, giving you a behind the scenes look at this real workplace. This session is meant to be interactive and engaging, so as our speaker shares knowledge, I encourage you to write down questions, and we'll have time throughout the session for some conversation or questions and answers. With that, I'm happy to turn things over to Riley from Willing Heritage.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. As Beth said, my name is Riley Carpenter. I work for Wheeling Heritage here in Wheeling, West Virginia, so up in the Northern Panhandle. And we are a nonprofit organization that focuses on the revitalization of our city. And we do that in lots of different ways. So we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit today. I do have a presentation to share with you guys, so I will get that pulled up here. And also, like Beth said, if there's anything as we go through that stands out to you, feel free to, you can wave a hand at me, or I know we've got some computers and monitors there. So if you need to like stand up and like so I can see you, and Mr. Walker, of course, if anyone has a question, you can like shout over at me. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for participating with us today. I'm gonna scoot this over off to the side. Alrighty, so a little bit about Wheeling Heritage. We are a nonprofit organization, like I already shared, and we're dedicated to revitalizing our city. Revitalization basically means that we are taking something old and bringing it back to life. I know that Martinsburg also has a pretty great little downtown area that's got a lot of revitalization going on as well. So maybe you guys can think about some of the things that's going on down there that might be similar to what I'm going to share. We work every day to connect people with the place they call home. That's through events, storytelling, grants, and local partnerships. I'm going to go ahead and turn my video back on so you can see me here. A little bit more about us. So we were established in 1994. So we just celebrated our 30th year a couple years ago when I first got brought onto the team. So my background is actually in education. I was a kindergarten teacher for about a decade. And then after having children, I decided to switch gears and came to work for Wheeling Heritage. And I entered during that 30th year. So it's kind of a really cool way to get brought on with all the celebrating happening. We're also a managing entity for the Wheeling National Heritage Area, and that's like a branch of the National Park Service. So when you think about a national park, you're probably thinking of these like beautiful landscapes. You're thinking of like Yosemite. You're thinking of all these really grand places. In a National Heritage Area, it's basically a lived-in landscape. So ours is designated by Congress, and that happened back in the 1980s. There are 52 national heritage areas in the whole United States, and West Virginia is home to, we like to say three and a half of them, because the fourth one actually spreads across multiple states. We are also a national Main Street program through Main Street America, and I know Martinsburg also has a Main Street program as well. All right, so this is our team. We are a small but mighty team, I like to say. We have our executive director, myself as director of programming, the two other gentlemen, so the tall guy and the guy on with the long hair. They are our media team or our technical specialists. And then Amy is our director of communications and also our development manager. So, a little bit about each one of those roles and kind of what we each do. We definitely could not do our jobs without each other. And I think that's something really important that I learned coming out of education and into this nonprofit sector because I was really used to kind of being a one-man show. Of course, we had specialists, you have counselors and whatnot, but when you're a teacher, you really kind of do it all. And here we kind of share responsibilities, although we each have our own too. So I'll go over these just a little bit so you guys can hear a little bit more. And if you have questions about any of these roles, feel free to ask. So the executive director, his name is Scott. He kind of oversees everything that we're doing, the overall vision, the partnerships, funding strategies. He works very closely with our contracted CPA, who kind of handles all of our finances. We do receive a large portion of our funding through the National Park Service, like I mentioned, but we also have other forms of revenue that we have to manage to make sure that our salaries get paid, make sure our building is maintained, and we still have money for some of our organizing partnerships and our programs. He's also in charge of leading major projects, communicating with other collaborative people within our community, and then, of course, organizational planning for the overall structure. Then you have me, so director of programming. I plan and manage programs that support small businesses. That is one of our pillars. Artists, and then also community development. So we have lots of different things I'll be talking about here as we break these apart a little bit. From Show of Hands, which is one of our really popular programs, to co-starters, to gallery exhibitions. We have an art gallery in our building that I curate, and then also just various events that we support and put on throughout the year. We also support the community through grant programs and partnerships. We have an online magazine where we utilize writers from the community and, of course, writers in-house, photography, interviewing, etc. Then you have Amy, like I said, she's the communications and development manager. So she's handling all of the marketing. She's handling most of our social media. She's handling donor relations when we are looking for sponsorships for things or large donors to help with kind of the overall sustainability of our organization. Fundraising, public outreach, and those are all things to make sure that Wheeling Heritage has its mission shared effectively throughout all of the platforms. And then the gentlemen who are our digital media team, they're supporting everything that we're doing through the online presence of photography, videography, editing, and design. They also manage podcasts that we do periodically throughout the year. We have our own website that's hosted through us. So a lot of other nonprofits actually kind of contract that out with various marketing teams, and that's something we actually do in-house. And one of the things that I didn't really know about before coming on to join Wheeling Heritage is that those things are not only costly if you're kind of putting them out to someone else to do, but if you want to make changes, it's really kind of this cycle. It's a little bit tricky to say, okay, we need this changed on our website. This is what we want it to look like. This is what it needs to include. It needs to link back to here. So all those changes cost money as well. So it's just something really, really nice that we can do in-house to make those changes at any time. And then, of course, the overall theme of just helping to create storytelling for the community in a visual way. Any questions about kind of those roles? I know it's a lot of information. You guys are probably like, what is a nonprofit? What is all of this? We'll just keep going through. If anything stands out to you, please feel free to share. So Beth asked me to kind of break apart just a little bit more about the opportunities and the skills that we're using every day. So I went ahead and just kind of thinking of all those roles I just described to you and just branched them out into individual bullet points for things that any one of us is doing at any point in time. So you have marketing and design, you have writing and editing, photography and video production, social media management, historic preservation and research, event planning, program management, community development, retail and small business support, grant writing and reporting. Reporting is the not so fun part. Networking and relationship building. So, yes, that is actually a skill that you need to have if you're going to be in a position where you're either helping with development or helping with programming. Which is kind of fun to think about. So if anyone's like, I love to talk to people, I just really think it's super fun to meet new people and share about, what I do. That's such a great like little for you. That's something I really enjoy doing. Public speaking and presentation skills, fundraising, donor engagement, project coordination. So that's more coordinating something in the time. Event planning is kind of like before it happens, and then project coordination is like as it's happening. Time management is something we all do. Oh my gosh, you guys probably hear it as high school students as well. Website management, and then content creation. So things kind of overlap with creativity and also just like the nitty gritty of what needs to happen each day. All of the photos that you're seeing as we're going through are also all photos of Wheeling. So many of them were taken by our media team, and it just really showcases what a vibrant city we have and how we really are doing the work and putting in the time to make it not only beautiful, but also a place where people want to be. So, a little bit more specifically about why nonprofits matter. As a high school student, I kind of thought that nonprofits were just like somewhere you worked as a volunteer and you didn't actually make money if you worked for a nonprofit. Because you always think like nonprofit, that means no profit, which means no money. Um, and that's really not the case. We do all get paid to do our work. So basically, nonprofits are filling the gap between government and private business. So focusing on people and purpose rather than profit. So our main goal is to be a catalyst for the revitalization of our city. It's not really to make millions of dollars. Like that's not our end goal. A lot of corporations or for-profit organizations, their bottom line is like they want to be making money, which of course we want to make money too. But it goes back into what we're doing. We're not making money to make our salaries bigger. We're making money so that we can continue to do the work and do the projects that are making our community a better place. Um, Nonprofits also create meaningful career paths, making a difference while developing skills, like I mentioned just before, communication, management, design, leadership. And each of us wears a different hat in many different hats, and we even share hats sometimes. That's a little bit about nonprofits specifically. Okay, so this is kind of more about the video that didn't play for us, which was just going to show like a very brief visual representation of each of these. But I also have photos as well, so no big deal there. Our four pillars of work is kind of where we focus all of our energy and how that looks when we start breaking into projects and programs. Okay. So, historic preservation is one of them, and that basically just means restoring and reimagining old spaces for modern use. I'm sure you guys have all seen somewhere, whether it's within your hometown or elsewhere, oh, this used to be a fill in the blank, but now it's a fill in the blank. There are a lot of places like that in older cities. So you might not think Martinsburg or Wheeling is an older city, but they're pretty old. So it's really cool to see those spaces being brought back to life and the hard work that it takes and the expertise from historic preservationists to make that happen. Arts and culture is another one of our pillars. So we do that through supporting artists. We host art galleries, and we also are promoting creative projects like murals, art installations, and even events. Small business development is the third here, helping local entrepreneurs, that's business owners, grow through programs like Co-Starters and Show of Hands, but also wider support within our partnerships that we have with other organizations, like a restaurant week, or also just some simple things like having an artisan market. Those are some other ways we do those. And then the fourth one, which is a little bit, I don't want to say harder to understand, but it's a little more abstract, are grants and investments. So that's funding community ideas that make Wheeling a better place to live, work, and visit. I like to say play as well. And those look different depending on what type of grant we're looking at. So we're going to break into these a little bit more, and you guys can see some pictures, so that'll help you out a little bit. Any questions as of right now, though? I don't want to feel like I'm going too quickly, but I also don't want to have you guys miss out on anything. Very good?
We have a quick question.
Oh, wonderful.
So we want to know how students can help preserve local history. Is there anything we could
That's
do,
great.
on our behalf to get involved or just to to make a difference here locally?
Awesome. So I think there's probably, I know that for certain there's an organization for Martinsburg Main Street District. I forget his last name. Robbie's his first name. And him
Right.
and I have worked together on some things where you're looking at some of that reimagining and restoring of properties. I know that here in Wheeling, we have WeLunk, which is kind of that platform for writing. So we actually are partnered with our local high school, Wheeling Park High School, and they do some student writing with their journalism department. And they look at some of those spaces more so after the fact. So if there's a new business going in somewhere, and the building has been preserved, kind of looking at that through the lens of a student and documenting that, whether it's through pictures or through writing. So I don't know if there's anything like that near you guys, but I'm sure local newspapers, any opportunity where you can partner with someone to provide content like that. Also, just exposure. I mean, TikTok, Instagram, or any kind of social media that you're utilizing, I'm sure those are the big ones. Saying like, hey, this is just something educational. Maybe you didn't know this used to be a bank and now it's a taco shop. I don't know. I think that those kind of informal ways are also just as important as the more formal ways.
And another thing for the social media marketing,
Mhm.
I know a traditional route, I'm sure, would be a college degree, but would notoriety, like let's say you have a big following, could you get employed through notoriety, or is it like you need a degree, or is it a skill set, or like more of a skill based or certificate? Like, what's the route to get there? Because we have a lot of people in all of my classes that would prefer the social media, making content, that type of thing. What would
Yeah,
be a
for
good route
sure.
to get in that?
That's a great question. I know that for us specifically, since we are a very small team, it's hard for us to bring on full-time employees, but a lot of times we do contracted work, or internships even. We have a high school student right now who's doing an internship for us for that very thing. Like that's the what we kind of put out there. We wanted a social media content manager, to kind of look at fun ways to do TikToks and Reels and just think about like that outside the box. I'm that generation that's kind of like in the middle. So I'm familiar with all of that, but I also like it's not first nature to me. So I think
Right.
it's a great tool to have, a skill set wise. I think it's important if that's something that interests you and it excites you. I definitely think pursuing that through things like internships to get you started, that's always a great foot in the door, if you can start that way. And then maybe if it's even just going on to get like an online degree, if you aren't looking to pursue a 4-year college degree, maybe it's something small where it's just like business management or communications or something like that, just to kind of have something under your belt. But firsthand, not really sure. Like I said, I went to school for education and I ended up here. So, all right. So, historic preservation, these are just some photos of Wheeling. I'm just going to give a brief little overview about what you're looking at here. So, the beautiful architecture that we have so many buildings that have been restored. Some of them only external, some of them both external and internal renovations, but preserving the character of old buildings. I mean, it's just like uncomparable. Like, it's just beautiful. We also work with local organizations. We have something called Friends of Wheeling, which is kind of like a historic preservation group of its own. And they help a lot with keeping up with there's certain criteria for preserving these buildings. So we do have some craftsmen and women that work on the actual art of restoring them. You can't just hire a local contractor to do it, because there's an art to what they're doing. So the photo here on the right is actually during the Preservation Alliance of West Virginia conference when they were showing how they were fixing the stucco on this building. And then the photo in the middle, that is the Arthur Borman statue that got brought to Independence Hall, to celebrate history and the importance of people in history as well. Arts and culture. So, like I said, we host art galleries. The photo on the left there is our space in our art gallery in our building. It was a Halloween inspired show we put together, and we did just like an artist call. If you had something that fit the theme, submit it for review, and then we kind of curated those. And it turned out to be a really fun little opening. We even had a tintype photographer here. We had cake pops. We had an artist selling cake pops. And we had some like spooky music and like it was super fun. So going all out with a theme is my favorite thing ever. We've got a muralist here working on a historic building, actually, that just got some really great funding through us in the last 2 years, and they did some of the work on the outside of their building. You see this like really great giant guitar. It like lights up with neon lights at night. It's right across from the suspension bridge. Very cool little corner of our main street. The photo of the event here with like the podium, that was for Black History Month. They do a history of Black music. So they had people who were taking lyrics and then kind of like morphing them into like poetry. So instead of singing it, they were just reading it, right? And then they also had some people and artists coming up to just share their own works. So that was really cool. And then over here we have Juneteenth. We always work with our local city government and also the YWCA on bringing a really vibrant Juneteenth down to our Heritage Port, which is kind of like our riverfront area, and celebrating with the community for that. So they were working on like an art piece there that we then keep and use. Small business development. This is kind of like my meat and potatoes. As the director of programming, I have to manage a lot of different things, but this is where I feel the most comfortable in talking about everything, only because it's the stuff I do every single day. So the guy on the left here with like all the crazy framed portraits and like magazine cutouts, his name is Peyton. He opened a thrifted clothing store. It's called Two Times. It's really cool. He's got a great social media. So if anybody loves vintage clothing, you should definitely check it out. Two Times Collectibles, I think is what it's called. But he's got a spot up here on Market Plaza where he goes thrifting, he goes garage sailing, he like gets on eBay, whatever. He buys stuff and then he has a storefront that's just like full of this like really cool stuff. I don't know how else to say it. But anyway, we had someone write a story on him and it went on our online magazine on WeLunk. So it's just another way where we're supporting small businesses. So if somebody is new in business or old in business, whatever, they can be highlighted through that. And then we share those on all of our social medias. We've got the big check picture. That's show of hands. So that's a place or a time when small businesses can apply to be a part of it. We choose 4 finalists. They each pitch an idea or a project that they're doing or working on or business they're starting, whatever. And then the audience all pays $5. That gets them some like light snacky like appetizers. We have live music, and then they listen to all of the pitches, and then they vote on their favorite. And then all of the money, along with a couple sponsorships, gets sent to the winner for that night. So this was a local smoothie bowl company that just started up, and they received a little over $5,000 to start their venture of looking for a permanent place instead of just doing pop-ups. And then co-starters, that bottom picture where everyone's kind of around the table there, that's like what I like to say, the precursor to being a part of Show of Hands. You don't have to do it, but it's just this 10-week entrepreneurial program where you get to learn about starting a business. They walk you through marketing, financing, branding, everything you need to know if you're going to look at starting a business, and kind of mix your business plan along the course of the 10 weeks. And then the grants and investments. So these are just a few things that we have either helped contribute funding to or partnershiped with. This picture of the cute little doggos in those little bags. Oh my gosh, it melts my heart. That is Fido Fest. It's a dog-centric, basically festival that we hold each spring. You have the Grecian Food Festival up here where you have the Grecian dancers. And then this picture of Dan Millison down here, Waterfront Hall is a really cool space in Wheeling. He bought an old Berry Supply building. That's what it's called, the Berry Supply Building. And then he changed it, morphed it, revitalized it into this really awesome food space and bar in the first floor, like a music and event kind of thing on the other side with a stage. And then you have a loft for renting out for Airbnbs, and they have a salon. And then the third floor is a full event center for weddings or banquets and things like that. And he received a revitalization sub grant through us. So we applied for money through the National Park Service. They gave us a nice big chunk of $750,000. And then we hold that money and people apply for chunks of that money. So I think he got, I want to say 75,000 or $100,000 to help with the some of the first things he was doing in that building before he opened. And a little bit about just how we collaborate with our local tourism department. So that is the Visit Wheeling is what the organization is called, and they are our visitors and convention bureau here in Wheeling. We work really closely with them, not only physically because their office is across the street from us, but one of their members is on our board, and we just do a lot of things collaboratively. One thing that was really big this past winter was we kind of brought Wheeling back as the city of lights. Many years ago, there were these beautiful snowflakes that lined Main Street, and they got taken down just like wear and tear. They didn't get put back up, and so we kind of had this idea like let's bring this back, this magical holiday experience. And we worked with them and some other partners to actually take it up a notch even further. We had some dine-in igloos that were hosted near our our arena where we have hockey during the winter, indoor football. I don't know, whatever it's called. I say indoor football. It's not like I don't know. I don't know what they're called. You know what I'm saying? Arena football, I guess. Um, so yeah, we did that. We also created like a little holiday quiz to figure out like what events you should be tuned into this winter. We brought back the snowflakes. We had 58 snowflakes lining Main Street and Market Street, which are like our two downtown major streets that people are either driving through or walking through. And we just kind of worked with them to make sure that Wheeling was identified as this destination to visit. Of course, you have heard about Ogilvy. They have a beautiful Festival of Lights display that's been going on for about 30 or 40 years. So we already are bringing people to Wheeling, but that's kind of like distant from our downtown. It's up on a hilltop. So we were like, okay, let's and have people come downtown and experience even more. And we utilize an event calendar as well with the CVB to link all of our events as well as community events. So I just have like a tiny little activity. I know we only have about 10 minutes left, but I wanted to ask you guys, and this can be like super, just like we can share ideas, or if you have anything to share, I'd love to hear it. We're just trying to think about how do we create a downtown experience for the opposite season, right? So summer's coming up. What would a summer version of that winter experience look like? It's not going to be the same. We're not going to have dine-in igloos. We're not going to have snowflakes. But what are some things that we could do? So I'm asking you guys, what would a summer version look like? What are multiple pieces that could work together? So like I shared, we had all these different things going on, but then we linked it back to like the quiz and the article. Think about ways to explore. So like passes people could use or challenges like to, I don't know, for fun, like to do things, a build your day tool. And then how would we brand it? So like a name or a theme. What would people do across that period of time? So we're probably thinking like June, July, August. And then why would it bring people downtown? So feel free to take a minute and think about that. If anything jumps out to you immediately and you want to like answer any one of those, I'd love to hear your thoughts. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna say thank you as well for taking some time out of your busy day as a Monday high school student. I'm just glad I didn't catch you first period because that's normally when I talk to high school students and they are normally half asleep. So after lunch was probably fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Definitely better than first, for sure.
Yeah. So take a minute. You can talk to each other. You can like if I was there in person, I'd say, okay, let's like break off into groups. But I also realized, like I said, we only have about 8 minutes left before you guys got to switch periods. So, yeah, just chat with one another. And if you think of anything, I'd just love to hear it.
What do you got? Ice cream. Okay, we had a student say ice cream. Ice cream's that's a big sell on. They were talking
Okay.
about water slides or water like inflatables, stuff like that. If you could get down, maybe get the kids involved.
Okay.
All right, what about marketing? How are we going to market that? Okay, well, we had a student say social media. That's good. You know, when you're driving through Main Street, right? They've got the snowflakes.
So look on the billboard.
Okay, the billboard. All right.
You got to put something that got something to do with heat. It's gonna be hot. It's the summertime.
It's okay.
And global warming is getting hotter. It's getting hotter. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we gotta go, like maybe like drag it a little bit, like put like 200 degrees on like a billboard and like somebody sweating or something like that.
Okay. All right. Like come cool off.
Yeah, and you know how like they said for like the globes or for the lights,
Yeah.
you can put like heat, like flames.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. A little something. All right. Okay.
I love that.
Anybody else want to say? What do you got?
Ice cream truck.
Okay. Now we got ice cream trucks. Ice cream trucks. Okay.
Everybody bring out the best ice cream. Taste test.
Ice cream competition. Homemade ice cream.
Gotta be
Homemade ice cream taste test competition.
Oh my gosh, count me in. I worked at Cold Stone for 7 years before I started teaching. So
That's not a bad
Sign me
one.
up
I've
for
went to some chili taste off or chili offs. If you have some ice cream taste test, that might do something. Might be able to
That's
make-
a great idea, actually.
Yeah, okay. All right. The little bit of time. That was fast. Quick brainstorming.
love that. What do you think about? So we had that little quiz that we did, and then depending on their answer, it led them to like, okay, this is what you should do. Do you guys think that that is cool, or do you think that that's lame? Be honest.
Okay. They're saying lame. We seeing
Lame.
some thumbs down.
All right, so what should we do instead to help them like curate what they're gonna do when they come?
What do you think? Let them figure it out. We had one say just let them figure it out.
Just let them figure it out. They don't have to plan it.
like just like push the surprise, like
Push the surprise.
You want to come, like it's something you're not gonna want to miss. Like
Sell the surprise, they're saying.
Okay.
We have some saying they hate being told what to do.
Okay.
Right,
Hey, that's
right.
okay.
Oh my God.
they don't want to show up every much.
The element of surprise. So give them enough
Yeah.
of a teaser to
Right.
make them interested. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what they're leaning towards.
Okay. Cool. I like that.
Anything
What
else
about
you
like
guys-
challenges? So you said maybe like a competition. What about so people who aren't going to be participating in the competition? What would the other people, like spectators or just like audience members, would there be anything that they could do to help interact?
Flip a slide on the tube.
No, let's say they're saying like the people that are spectating,
Okay.
what would they do to like make it fun for them and they could be involved and kind of
They could be the judges.
they could be the judges like a clap off or like a, you know how it's like who
You know
who
about
won.
those judges who like put up those papers with like the numbers on it and they like rate it out of 10?
Yeah.
Five lucky
Yeah,
guess
that's
out the
what I'm
crowd.
talking
Five lucky guess out the crowd.
Say it again. 5 what?
Lucky guess out the crowd.
Okay, 5 lucky guests out of the crowd that could get some free stuff.
Okay.
What about like just like the, you know, like you guys know when, all right, let's think of something like there's a competition and you got a whole crowd and it's like, you know, like get loud for this person and whoever gets the
What side
loudest.
louder? and-
What side's louder? Okay.
That's like more like everybody like commenting on like how they
Just kind of keeps them involved, makes them feel like they're heard. That's valid.
like who they have to win the competition, they can go on that side. Like say like there's tables, so stand behind the team that you think is gonna win.
Okay, and then each one could have a different prize if they win or something like that. Maybe if you wanted
Free ice cream for everybody who picked that.
free ice cream for everybody who picked that one.
Might need to bring the ice cream truck out for that one.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I honestly love the idea of the ice cream truck. We were talking about that with our team not that long ago because we heard like something outside that resembled an ice cream truck like music. We were like, "What is that? The ice cream truck? Like, what is that?" Do you have an ice cream truck like in your neighborhoods that goes around or
Yeah,
no?
that's what. Okay, we have one say it goes around War Memorial Park. We have them in some areas.
Okay.
Sometimes I remember when I was a kid, we had them, but then it was like 10 years, and I've never seen another one.
After COVID, it was like after COVID,
COVID just stopped it.
In my neighborhood,
Oh.
it comes out like based on
Nothing brings you more joy than seeing the ice cream truck.
I know, hearing that music, you're like, let me find my
Yeah.
$2 right now. Although probably with inflation, it's probably $5 for a SpongeBob
Yeah.
Oh,
popsicle.
yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
I don't think they
Where
sell the
is SpongeBob
SpongeBob.
popsicle?
Strawberry shortcake, right? Well, I can't thank you guys enough. I think your ideas are super cool. No pun intended for the heat. But I really appreciate your time and just kind of listening, and maybe it exposed you to an idea or something that you hadn't thought about for after high school. Always happy to chat more. And if anybody has specific questions and you want to link up with me, Beth has all my contact info.
Yeah, thank you
Alrighty.
guys
Thank
so
you.
much. You guys have been a great audience. Martinsburg High School, I will see you guys again on Thursday. You'll have one more
Oh,
presentation. Looking forward to that. So, thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
all right. See you. Thank you.
Thank you.
As a reminder, we have weekly work-based learning modules, and they can all be found on our website, educationalliance.org/work-based learning.